Hello everyone. Today you are taking the 7th grade writing benchmark. It is important to do your best and good luck. Prompt. Write a narrative essay describing your character's life as a runaway slave on the Underground Railroad. In your narrative, include specific details about the setting, your character's thoughts and feelings, and an explanation about how your character helped overcome a challenge on the Underground Railroad. You must include dialogue. Be sure to use information from the passages. Before you begin planning and writing your narrative, read the passages. 1. Harriet Tubman Biography, Article 1. 2. From Harriet Tubman, Conductor on the Underground Railroad, by Ann Petrie, Article 2. Your historical narrative must be at least 2 pages and no more than 1,500 words, no less than 500 words. Harriet Tubman Biography, Article 1, Life as a Slave. Tubman's life as a slave was difficult. Harriet first lived in a one-room cabin with her family that included 11 children. When she was only 6 years old, she was loaned out to another family, where she helped take care of a baby. She was sometimes beaten, and all she got to eat was table scraps. Later, Harriet worked on a number of jobs on the plantation, such as plowing, fields, and loading produce into wagons. She became strong doing manual labor. That included hauling logs and driving oxen. At the age of 13, Harriet received a horrible head injury. It happened when she was visiting the town. A slave owner tried to throw an iron weight at one of his slaves, but hit Harriet instead. The injury nearly killed her and caused her to have dizzy spells and blackouts for the rest of her life. The Underground Railroad. During this time, there were states in the northern United States where slavery was outlawed. Slaves would try to escape to the north using the Underground Railroad. This wasn't a real railroad. It was a number of safe homes called stations that hid slaves as they traveled north. The people that helped the slaves were called conductors. Slaves would move from station to station at night, hiding in the woods or sneaking onto trains until they finally reached the north and were free. Harriet escapes. In 1849, Harriet decided to escape. She would use the Underground Railroad. After a long and scary trip, she made it to Pennsylvania and was finally free. In 1850, the Fugitive Slave Act was passed. This meant that slaves could be taken from free states and returned to their owners. In order to be free, slaves now had to escape to Canada. Harriet wanted to help others, including her family, to safety in Canada. She joined the Underground Railroad as a conductor. Harriet became famous as an Underground Railroad conductor. She led 19 different escapes from the South and helped around 300 slaves to escape. She became known as Moses because, like the Moses in the Bible, she led her people to freedom. Harriet was truly brave. She risked her life and freedom to help others. She also helped her family, including her mother and father, to escape. She was never caught and never lost a slave. Ann Petrie's Conductor on the Underground Railroad. Excerpt, Article 2. The masters kept hearing whispers about the man named Moses who was running off slaves. At first, they did not believe in his existence. The stories about him were fantastic, unbelievable, yet they watched for him. They offered rewards for his capture, and they never saw him. Now and then, they would heard whispered rumors to the effect that he was in the neighborhood. The woods were searched. The roads were watched. There was never anything to indicate his whereabouts. But a few days afterward, a goodly number of slaves would be gone from the plantation. Neither the master nor the overseer had heard or seen anything unusual in the quarter. Sometimes one or the other would vaguely remember having heard a whippoorwill call somewhere in the woods, close by, late at night, though it was the wrong season for whippoorwills. Sometimes the masters thought they had heard the cry of a hoot owl repeated and would remember having thought that the intervals between the low moaning cry were wrong, that it had been repeated 4 times in succession instead of 3. There was never anything more than that to discuss, that all was not well in the quarter, yet When morning came, they invariably discovered that a group of the finest slaves had taken to their heels. Unfortunately, the discovery was almost always made on a Sunday. Thus, a whole day was lost before the machinery of pursuit could be set in motion. The posters offering rewards for the fugitives could not be printed until Monday. The men who made a living hunting for runaway slaves were out of reach, off in the woods with their dogs and their guns in pursuit of four-footed game. Or they were in camp meetings saying their prayers with their wives and families beside them. Harriet Tubman could have told them there was far more involved in this matter of running off slaves than signaling the would-be runaways by imitating the call of a whippoorwill or a hoot owl, far more involved in the matter of waiting for a clear night when the North Star was visible. In December 1851, when she started out with the band of fugitives that she planned to take to Canada, she had been in the vicinity of the plantation for days, planning the trip, carefully selecting the slaves that she would take with her. She had announced her arrival in the quarter by singing the forbidden spiritual, "Go down, Moses, way down to Egypt land," singing it softly outside the door of a slave cabin late at night. The husky voice was beautiful, even when it was barely more than a murmur borne on the wind. Once she had made her presence known, word of her coming spread from cabin to cabin. The slaves whispered to each other, ear to mouth to ear, "Moses is here. Moses has come. Get ready. Moses is back again." The ones who had agreed to go north with him waited patiently for the signal. That meant it was time to start. Begin planning and writing your narrative. Go back to the prompt and make sure you follow directions. Good luck.